letter, if you might have seen or gotten that already, is a reference to the acceptance letter and supply list that first year Hogwarts students receive.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice that.
Harry Potter.
I didn't even recognize that one.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool. So these are things you could go out and look for. Let's see, another one that's pretty good. Um, Frederic, I can't even say the name right. Frederic Janie, who's a tailor in Eldon Root,
Oh
will
no.
say, "You'll like the way you're dressed. I can guarantee that." I think it's actually homage to the line spoken by the Men's Warehouse founder
Yeah,
George Simmer that used to appear in commercials for the men's dress clothing retailer.
that is epic.
That's pretty funky. Let's see. The first two lines of I probably wouldn't even have to go any further than this. Caldwell's personal anthem. Anybody have any clue?
Uh,
You remember it?
would that have to be something to do with?
How about this? I'll recite the first two lines for you and see if you can guess what it refers to. I'm a shoal shriven, but that's all right. I fight Daedra all day and rescue damsels at night. That's the first two lines of what he says to you. Any ideas?
It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh my gosh. You're
Remember
killing me.
who recites that too? Who is playing Caldwell?
Yeah, I know. But that's not a Holy Grail reference, is it?
It is actually.
Yes.
Not
Okay.
Holy Grail. No, I'm sorry.
No,
No,
no, it's
Monty
the
Python though.
Monty Python. It was the Flying Circus, I believe.
Lumberjack
Ah,
song.
I'm out of two for 0. 0 for 2 now.
It's the
Dang.
first two lines of the Lumberjack song. So there you go. The first two lines of Caldwell's personal anthem is a reference to the first two lines of the Lumberjack song by Monty Python. And Caldwell obviously is voiced by John Cleese, who was a
Yep.
member of the troupe.
Who is an awesome
Although
guy.
I must point out that Cleese did not actually perform that song. And
No.
then another little bit about Caldwell. One of his ditties that Caldwell recites when you first meet him is an adapted version of a nonsense poem. I don't know if you know what a nonsense poem is, but back in Victorian times, one of the ways they entertained themselves was to make up nonsense poems that made no sense. And it's called One Fine Day. And the actual nonsense poem
I
that they
know
used
that
to
one.
do, one bright morning in the middle of the night, two dead boys got up to fight. Back to back, they faced one another, drew their swords, and shot each other. That's the original one from back in the 1800s. Well, Caldwell's is one fine day in the middle of the night, two dead kings got up to fight. Back to back, they faced each other, drew their bows, and stabbed themselves. So there you go.
Yes, I know that
That's
one
of
very
the-
well. Yeah, it's a one
Yeah.
bright day in the middle of the night. Two dead boys rose to fight. Back to back, they faced each other, drew their swords, and shot each other. One
Yeah.
deaf boy.
Do you know the rest of it?
Yep, one deaf boy heard this noise.
Very
Ah,
good, very good.
Yeah, I
Yes,
can go
it
on,
goes
but I'm
on
not
and
going
on
to.
for quite a while.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful. It's fun as hell. Those things.
they are.
Let's see. Um, Paul Revere. Here you go. The name and objectives of the quest, if by sea,
Yep, I
are
saw
a
that.
reference to Paul Revere's famous midnight ride during the American Revolutionary War. Now, this one I loved when I read this. There's an Argonian chef named Makes Many Soups. Can be found in Joran's stand in Eastmarch. If you ask her how many soups, she will say, "Today, only one soup." If you complain, she will declare, "If you are too greedy, you get no soup at all."
No soup for you.
Obviously, this is a reference to the soup Nazi from the
Yeah.
TV show Seinfeld, who will declare, obviously, no soup for you and refuse to serve the person at the slightest complaint. Good Lord. Excuse me. There's a few others. And obviously, if you want to read all of them and go on about other Easter eggs, you can get it all from the Easter Scrolls. Elder Scrolls pages of the official pages, the wiki, at www.usep.net, wiki online easters.eggs. So if you want more of that, email me. I'll give you
All
some
right.
more information about
Awesome. Yeah, send us an email, guys. All right, so we're going to go. That was awesome, Fred. Thank you.
that. Thanks.
That was
Yep.
fun.
Yes.
We're going to go into our main topic of the night, guys. This is where we're going to have
All
some
right.
conversation. Like I said, this is going to be basically ESO's been out for about half a year now, okay? We've had 6 months or more of awesomeness. I seriously forgot the actual date it released, but that's my bad.
It's April.
Yeah, it was April, okay.
End of March, actually, for the headset.
Well, for the early release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been at this for a little over 6 months now. And this is kind of like what we think of how it's going, where we're at, and what we feel could use a little bit more love going forward. All right? I'm going to just break it down into different kind of categories. We're going to just kind of discuss from there. The first thing on the list is going to be combat. Now, this is a big part of what makes ESO so different from other games, is the style of the combat it's used. The combat for ESO is a live action based combat system. Your traditional MMO, for those of you who play World of Warcraft and those and things of that nature, it's all point and click. You have to stand still, you have to press buttons in a certain order, and when the one flashes, you got to press that one, and it does another cool effect, and they die. In ESO, it's a lot more skill oriented, which is something that I think is the best thing possible right now for the game. And I'm distracted because I just noticed that my wife is playing World of Warcraft in the background right now.
Yeah.
But basically, the live combat system, and see, I was so used to point and click with my mouse playing World of Warcraft. I did that for 8 years, and I'd click buttons and it would shoot out and do my spells. And I'd do an order, and I just use WASD to move. That's it. You don't use your mouse to move. In ESO, it's a combination of mouse and keyboard, which is very similar to what you use in first-person shooters, things of that nature. So I think it is a brilliant idea. When I first played ESO, when I first got a hold of that system, the way that Skyrim played and Oblivion played, I was in love immediately with the combat system. And I'm one of those people who's on. There's two camps here, okay, guys. There's one camp who thinks that we need more hotbars, and the other camp thinks that we have enough. I'm on the camp that thinks 5 is great. All right, because that means it's more strategy, more thought goes into what you have to use, not having everything splayed out in front of you and just clicking in everything and going at it multiple times. And one of the great things about the game is there's no cooldowns, so you can use it as long as you have the mana or the stamina to do so. So if you have more than 5 up there, it's just wasting space on your screen if you think about it. And you're not going to be able to use them all anyway because they're going to take all your mana and stamina. That's my opinion on combat. I think they are on the right track with it. They need to stick with this and keep it going. Their combat is what sets them apart from everybody else as being phenomenal. All right, I'm leaving the floor open to you guys. Comments are open.
I totally agree with you. I think the combat system in here is the best I've ever played with. It requires strategy. I agree with you. I think it requires skill. There's more left to me as a player to make it the way I want it to be rather than me interfacing with the system. As you pointed out, it's not just point and click, point and click, point and click. It's, okay, what am I going to do here? Okay, oh, bang, I got to do something else here. Okay, oh, boy, I got a tank here. I got to, let me back up and do something. And I agree with you totally. I've heard arguments where I've had people say, I wish I can put more skills out. And I think the whole point of having only 5 makes it that much more exciting in that we're able to just say, okay, what am I going to use? And then I'm able to switch out when I need to do something else. The one thing that I think, and this is what makes it beautiful about having add-ons, that there are add-ons that we can get that makes it fast to switch out skills and things like that. The one thing that I think that would be nice if they did is if they allowed us to program or something, extra skill lines or something like that to switch out to the main in an instant. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was exactly my feedback was going to be. Yeah, we need presets.
Right, if they would give us presets, that's a good word, man.
Yep,
a preset.
If you're going to EVA or an arena, there's different content that I actually need to change my bar around. And it would be really handy when you're outside of combat if you could simply switch between those.
Right. That would be nice.
I'm going to
Definitely.
address something really quick, guys, in chat room, because this person in chat was completely wrong, and I want to address that. Iskuk in chat said, I like more. We're not playing on the console. The sole reason for such a short bar is catering to the weaker platform. That's highly inaccurate. The reality of the fact is they didn't even decide to go to console until 6 months prior to release. It was not even on the table. When I saw the game for alpha 2 years ago, they were using only 5. And they said that the reason is they wanted to put it as a strategic maneuver for players to use only a certain skills, to level up certain skills, and for strategy is what it came down to. They wanted to limit that for this purpose of strategy. It has nothing to do with the
Other
consoles.
MMOs have done this. Like Neverwinter actually did the same number of skills. I believe it's about 5 in the Neverwinter bar. So there is a a precedent for the fewer number of skills. Although I have played MMOs with more than 100 buttons, but this is just a different strategy. That's
But yeah, that wasn't ESO's reason for using, or Zoss's reason
it
for
wasn't
using
wasn't
only
due to the
5.
console.
It was definitely not for console. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea.
Consoles were secondary thought.
Yeah. That's why they're taking so long to get them out. They've realized that the challenge of programming for consoles is quite, well, challenging. I mean, yeah, the modern consoles, PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, they use a PC platform, but they still have its own code sets. And they don't work the same exact way as a PC. So it's still, they're learning that aspect of it, because they're primarily a PC company.
Yeah.
With that said, there are still going to be people who would like more skills available. It's just that's the direction that ZeniMax chose to go with the game.
Yeah, so I don't really see, guys, personally, them increasing that at any time.
No.
No.
I agree with you
No
wholeheartedly.
reason.
But the presets would be nice, like I said, Fred and I.
And there's add-ons that give you that though, Ben.
Correct. Yeah, we're
know,
just talking
so-
about improvements.
Right. If they
Yeah,
that they
what-
should be
yeah.
able to do eventually to prevent the add-on from having to be used.
Exactly.
I would like to see that too.
Okay. Well, one of the big hits that I want to get into, gentlemen, is the in-game. This is personally where I feel that ESO is still lacking. That needs a little bit more, and I have reasons for this. It's going to kind of play into the secondary topic, or another topic that I have down there, is what it's called the proverbial carrot on a stick, which is actually a necessity for MMOs. The in-game right now currently is basically your VR content. Now, the great thing I enjoy about it is the Codwell Silver and Gold. Being able to go and play the other factions is a brilliant move, brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Craglorn is where it starts to fall short. And what I mean by that is that people want the challenging in-game group-based content. That's always been a staple in MMOs. Now, they have the trials, but what I got really excited when they came out with the trials, because, oh yeah, here's our raid content, here's the challenge we're going to do. The most fun I've ever had in any MMO, period, was in a group with 10 of my friends, or nine other of my friends, and going week after week, 3 days a week, into these dungeons, these raids, and just having a ball, figuring them out, destroying them, getting all the goodies, and that's it, having that achievement, that source of achievement. But then when they said the trials are all timed, who can do it the fastest, that made me worry.
Yeah.
And it still does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly. When you can go through and do these 5 boss dungeons in 6 minutes, that's not in-game content. That's a speed run dungeon.
Yep.
For 12 people. And that's kind of where we're lacking in the game, is I found myself often in my DK going into the game thinking, I don't got much to do. I can go farm for, my Dwemer stuff, or I can craft. But when it comes to going into Craglorn, I need to have 4 people. And then it's just the same dungeons and a few quests. It's not actual real end-game content yet. And this is what I'm really hoping that they get in there in the future, because we need more of the carrot on the stick. We need something to strive for. And when they do that, I think they need to have gear that's better than what can be crafted on a random drop. That is the
Yes.
carrot on the stick that is missing in the game. I love the fact that the crafted gear, don't get me wrong, the crafted gear, this also goes into the crafting part here, needs to, I love the fact that I'm going way off on tangents everywhere, aren't I? I'm going to stop right there. I'll go to the crafting part later. But in-game, I am not a fan of it currently, except for
Yeah.
the Caldwell Gold Silver part. I think that was a brilliant move.
Yeah. I'm also on table with what you're saying here too, because I'm not big on what they're doing as well. I don't like speed content. I don't like leaderboard stuff. I'm into the story. I'm into the let's explore that type of stuff.
Hmm.
I don't mind going into something with a big group of people. That would be great. If I, like you said, 10, 20 members of the guild or whatever, and let's go in and beat this thing and do it for the reason that we're supposed to be doing it. But to have to do it because we're trying to beat a time, and do it over and over and over again just to try to beat the time, I that bores me.
What I would love to see, honestly, this is my suggestion for ZeniMax here. Create a story where Molag Bal isn't dead. We didn't defeat him. He comes back. But this time, we need to bring on 11 of our buddies to go into his realm, beat the snot out of him and his generals. And I want that dynamic boss fight where, Molag Bal's is huge. Like when you see him when you first start, that little spoiler content though, when you go in to fight him at the end of the game, in the story content, you see this giant Molag Bal throwing fireballs at you. I would love. Okay, I would love to see that as an actual boss fight for us in a raid style content. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you want this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want. That's what I want.
For those of you who are listening to the audio version, Fred was holding up a statue of Molag Bal holding somebody. It's an epic statue.
That looks like, the person's the size of his fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of content is what we need to see in this game. That's going to make people go, I got to get myself to VR 14 or Champion 14 or Champion 15. I want to be in that group, and I want to strive for months on end to defeat Molag Bal. And when you beat it, the amount of joy you get from it. Not to bring up World of Warcraft or anything like that, but honestly, guys, it was my favorite game moment ever when I took on the Lich King with my team. It took us 2 months of battling in that dungeon to beat him. And when we did, the amount of cheering was deafening in my ears. It was crazy. I was the raid leader, so I was screaming orders because we got within 3% of beating him, 2%. And I was going nuts, and everyone was going crazy. And when we beat him, I had to take my earphones off because it was explosion. That's the kind of thing this game needs to see more of, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Content like that's always a lot of fun. I always like things that make the game a challenge. If things just a time run or if they're not challenging, it just gets boring to me.
Yeah.
Because time runs are boring. I don't really care about time.
Like raids, like in other MMOs, where there'll be a raid that has more varied content. Where you're not just beating down a boss in a room kind of thing. I'd like a little bit more, perhaps a lengthy content. So you can get your group of 12 or 24 people together, but you're not going to have this 6-minute timed run like Joe was talking about that the trials could be with an experienced group. But you'd have something that you sit down. It's going to take 1 to 2 hours to do, and it's going to be a lot of different varied experiences, not just like a DPS race or anything like that.
Yeah, you go that.
It could be an open exploration area. It could be a dragon dungeon.
Yes.
It could be a cold harbor. I mean, it could be a different plane, like you just said. It doesn't have to be an enclosed arena. It doesn't have to be. It's okay. Like even in the trials area, that's okay what they did there. It just shouldn't be. Let's make it a race against time. It should be a story. It should be, like you said, something thought out, and let's have a large group. You have to read like that was a great tale right there. You really didn't finish Molag Bal. Let's do it.
Yeah. And they could bring in, there's all kinds of deities, there's all kinds of bad guys throughout the lore, and they can create new ones. Who's to say that they can't write new lore into the game?
Yeah.
There's so much they can do with it, and I look forward to it, and I would love to see staged events. One thing I would love to see, guys, as well, is periodic staged events through time, okay? For instance, the Mage College. What if we were there helping build it? And
Yeah.
as real time goes on, our efforts, our progress towards building it, whether it be gathering materials, fighting off enemies away from it, whatever the missions are, and we get to see this being built up and built up and built up, and when it's finally opened, we have access to it. Things like that, actual real world time events would be awesome too.
Yep. And also even smaller, even if it was like GM run events like they had in some of the other places.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
would be great too. Like they had one or two, but they were small things. But I mean, just pop GMs around every once in a while and start having live events,
Yeah, well, there was that one race.
zone events, in other words.
Yeah, I was in a foot race, I remember, earlier on in the game. That was a lot of fun that the devs ran.
Yeah, but I'm talking about all of a
Larger
sudden,
events.
Evermore is being attacked in the zone
Oh, yeah.
of Bankerai by tons of Daedra, or something like that.
All right, guys, let's go. Any more on the end game, right? Really quick, or do you want to move on?
Well, I think we covered it.
All right.
I think we covered.
Let's talk about the proverbial carrot on a stick. What I mean by that is basically things in the game that drive you forward to want to achieve or get. And normally, what is the most successful form of this is things that really don't do anything in the game other than make you look cool, or a shiny new mount, or a little pet to follow you that doesn't do anything, but it's a rare pet, and you got it. Those are the carrots in the stick that need to be included more into the game. Maybe even make the actual little pets do something, even minor something, whether it be like a little tiny minor buff for the rare pets that you get that can randomly drop off of a certain boss or a certain mob. In Craglorn, for instance, you're going to have people out there going at it every day at those mobs, trying to get that rare drop, because that's the carrot on the stick that we need. That's the carrot stick that we want. It may not be, anything like, oh, let's make my character uber powerful, but it's something that is mine, that I found, I got lucky, I put the effort in, that's mine. I don't see enough of that right now. I was really glad when they added in the Dwemer pages, and they didn't put it as a single book. To me, that was a great carrot on the stick. They had the right train of thought with that, and I would love to see more of that. What do you guys think?
Oh, definitely. The Dwemer books or Dwemer pages is great. I've still yet to find one, but every chance I get to look into the Dwemer runes for urns for the pages, I look.
Yeah. I've been farming them, and I found 5.
Lucky you.
Yeah, well, it took a lot of effort. We have someone in the guild that's found every
Roy
page
Boy's the
twice.
real lucky one in our guild.
Roy Boy. That guy
Holy
farms the
mackerel.
snot out of them, though. He really does. That's what he does in his game
Yeah.
time. And he's
Yeah.
found like
Yeah, he's good.
double of every page practically. So,
Yeah, that's right. I got almost a full armor because of him, Dwemer armor. I'm just drooling because of what he did to me.
Silver in
But-
chat brought up something as well. Housing has been
Yeah.
player housing is a big deal right now, and it took World of Warcraft 10 years to come out with their own player housing.
Yeah.
ESO needs to do that because look at the fact is, okay, that's another giant group of carrot on the stick for you. Okay, you have your own place. You go out in the world, you can find rare furniture, rare stuff, or trophies to hang on your wall. Like say you go kill a boss with your friends. Like you go in that dungeon to kill Molag Bal. You decapitate him. Someone in the group gets to have that head to put in his house as a trophy. That's an epic carrot on a stick. It doesn't do anything, but it's my trophy.
Yeah. That I agree wholeheartedly with. If everything I kill or any epic or extremely rare or something like that leaves a trophy head, I used to love that. Who was that? Lotro, I think, did that. And that was I loved that. I used to put that in my guild hall, put it in my personal house. Loved it. Obviously, we're not there yet, but yes, that's something that would be cool. Something that would be also neat, and I know they don't do it yet, but I can't remember what game it was. It was a long time ago, but they had rare pieces of armor that would be dropped that you had to collect in order to make the pieces of the armor.
Okay.
Now, in other words, it wasn't going to be like, for example, you had to pick up 5 pieces just to make the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
10 pieces just to make the chest, and things like that. So it would take a long time for you to collect everything. But once you had it, you had this really nice uber piece set of armor that was better than, uh, whatever. Things like that would be nice that you could go out and get. Of course, I don't know how that would work, but
Yeah. What about you?
I'm also very big on the housing. I think that's
well, housing would be cool.
yeah, I think it's very important for player longevity. I just
Well, yeah,
look at
'cause
all the
that-
time that people have spent on their houses in Oblivion and Skyrim.
Well, it's like I said,
Oh,
Vin.
God.
That's the carrot on the stick right there.
Yep.
Come and
Yeah.
get it. You want to play, so you can come and get this. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a big deal when they do get it out. And I personally think that ZeniMax needs to take a look at Rift. They need to take a look at World of Warcraft and do a combination of both of those. And they'll have the most phenomenal housing system ever created in an MMO, in my opinion.
Yeah, and customizable and upgradable. That's
Yeah.
also key.
Is in World of Warcraft, it's a whole village that is yours, and you can create different huts and stuff like that for different purposes. For like a barn, or you can capture animals, multiply them, and skin them, so you don't have to go out and do that. It's right there in your village, or you can switch that out with like a tannery, or different things like that in your village. And with Rift though, it's an instance-based area where it's completely customizable, from the trees to the bushes to everything inside the home is 100% customizable, and you can find just fishing. You can fish up a piece of furniture. You can go put it in your house and adjust the size and rearrange it, and things like that is what keeps people wanting to play the game more.
And this chat talk, was talking about mounts with multi-person mounts and
Yes.
exotic mounts.
Yes.
Exotic mounts, I guess they're talking about doing that. I think that's coming. Multi-person mounts, that's not a bad
And they
idea, I
need
guess.
to. One thing they need to avoid doing is making them to where you have to buy gold for them. They need to make them, or an achievement for. They need to make it as a random drop. At least some of them.
Yeah.
The random drops is what is really, really lacking in this game, in my opinion. It needs to have
Correct.
more, because when you find an epic random drop, it means nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna go break this down because I can make
Yep.
better. It means nothing. Now we're gonna segue into the crafting point. The crafting in the game is very robust, yes, but I think they made the crafted gear too powerful,
Yeah.
because
I think
crafting
they did that on
is the
purpose,
end
though,
all.
at the beginning.
They did.
That was their intent.
They did
But-
say, that the crafted gear would be every bit as
Would
good as
always
what you
be
could
more
buy.
powerful than what was
No,
dropped.
they said it
but-
would be as good as, but the thing is,
Yeah.
it's more powerful. When you get the right enchants, we make it your way.
Make it your way, yep.
It's more powerful, and it makes really finding gear in dungeons and stuff like that worthless, other than to break it down for materials. And I think they need to add gear and gear sets to the game. Like, even if it's not just, even if the stats are the same as what you can make, but if they made it in like a fashion or look that you can't make, that would drive people towards it as well.
Yes.
So that way you still have the crafting gear being every bit as viable as the drop gear, but the drop gear has an exotic look that you can't get from making. That's where you're going to get a lot more, in my opinion, when it comes to the gear situation.
I think they're starting with this with the Undaunted gear, with the Undaunted sets. They're starting to can't craft.
Yeah, with the pledge, right?
Yeah, with the pledges.
But we'll see.
So what do you guys think about that? No words?
Crafting, everything I get from crafting, I don't do any of it right now. I'm waiting for spell crafting. That'll probably be the first thing I get myself turned on to.
Mhm.
But I tried the other stuff because I've never really been into it. So I depend on my guildmates. So I have to abstain from much of the discussion with this one.
But I will say that, yeah, I do break down nearly everything that I find, all the treasure.
Oh yeah, you almost have to just to get all the resins and stuff you need just to upgrade all your crafted gear.
Exactly. But I am guilty of not even looking at the stuff all that well. If it's just a green item, a green pauldron or whatever it is, I'll just break it down.
It's just garbage.
They're not as exciting potentially as they could be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The drops are very unexciting to me. Another thing I want to bring up, guys, is the AVA. Now, this is where I don't have much to say on, honestly, because I don't do it. And the reason is it does not excite me. There's very little reward for me personally to go do it. But that's just my opinion. That's why I want to hear what you guys have to think. What do you guys think of the current AVA situation? Is there anything that you guys think that could be improved?
Yeah, I do feel that it would be nice if you could capture other resources. If you could capture, for instance, the gates and the bridges, perhaps even areas of terrain. It would just add a little more dynamic, to the AVA. So that'd be something I'd like to see, a little more granularity there, not just the keeps.
Okay.
Yeah, that could make things interesting. It could change the paths for traveling. It could take away the waypoints.
Hey, maybe you can start charging tolls.
There you go.
That would be really interesting, but I think that would mess with the PvE people who run around in there a lot too much.
I gotta admit,
Start
though,
charging tolls.
the one thing I do have to say about the AVA situation is that there is something that's going to be pulling me into AVA for the first time ever in MMO, and I believe that's going to be the Imperial City.
Yeah.
And what I've been seeing about it, and what we've been hearing about it, it looks very exciting. So hopefully it'll be something that'll draw me into AVA.
Well, the big benefit with the Imperial City is you're going to have PvE areas with PvP areas mixed into.
With crafting areas as well.
Right, you're going to have everything right in Imperial City. So you don't, even if you don't like AVA, you still have sections of it that you could stay within and stay in your PvE area and just do what you want to do. There's quests and what have you that you can just stay in, but then you might have to sneak through the AVA area or something. I guess we don't know. We haven't seen it yet how it's going to lay out. But from my understanding of it, from listening to what they were saying, was that you will have your PvE area too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you whether you venture forth into the PvP or AVA areas.
I know there will be different sections of the city.
Right, that are free of concern for those that don't want to. So it's still open, free reign for people, every type of person that wants, no matter who you or what kind of gameplay you have. So,
All right. Let's get to a couple more topics really quick, because we're already 45 minutes into the show currently.
well, that's good.
Yeah, I was thinking, we're about 20 minutes in, no big deal, we got plenty of time. I look at it like, ooh, we're getting short. All right, so UI. The UI, what do you guys think is great about it? What do you think it needs to be changed? I personally think that there's been a couple of add-ons in the game that should be absorbed by ZeniMax and actually included. Like that bar system that you guys brought up in episode 5. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I want to apologize to everybody. I didn't publish episode 5 properly on our site, so it never made it to iTunes until today. So those of you who have not heard episode 5, it's now up on iTunes, 2 weeks late, but it's there. I apologize. It was a great episode. You should check it out. All right. UI, what do you guys think?
Well, there's definitely issues with the mail system that needs to be corrected or be fixed. Not fixed, but
Yeah, how about a reply button?
yeah, we need a reply
Going
button.
forward.
It'd be nice if we even had a forward button. Copy mail would be nice. It's lacking.
So basically, you
Yeah,
want a
that's
lot
right.
more mail tools, basically.
Yeah. I mean, there's add-ons that give me those, so I'm content for now that I'm able to use with the guild and everything.
The guild mail. It would be nice to just have a button where you could just mail all of your guild mates,
Well, I have that
but through an add-on.
through an add-on, right? As I
Yeah.
said, there's a lot of things that are being done through add-ons that are giving the developers, a pass, if you will, from not having to be worried about it. And I think that was their intent. But yeah.
Well, the great thing about opening up the UI to other people is that, it's that whole thing. I if I did a show by myself, it would be boring. But
Sure.
the more personalities that are included, the more ideas that get thrown out, the better it becomes. It's the same way with anything else. They did that open UI, hoping that other people would come in there, bring up and do ideas that they didn't think about that really works, and who knows, they might just weed it into the game itself on a future update and make it a permanent thing. That's very well known for a lot of MMOs to do that who have an open UI.
Right. That's true. So.
All right,
So I
so
just have a few small comments.
go in.
It would be nice when you get a whisper if there was like a ding noise. I've seen it in other MMOs. Just some kind of a notification,
Okay.
that a whisper's come in.
That's a great idea. Yeah. I
Yeah,
get a
pretty
lot of
simple.
whispers that I miss. You're right.
Another thing also related to the mail is that currently the way the professions work, if you have a hireling, you don't receive the mail from that hireling until you log into that character. It would be nice if on the character select screen there'd be some indicator that said, hey, you've got mail waiting for that particular character. I realize mail is account-wide except for the hirelings. So unless they change that, it would still be nice to have an indicator that said, hey, this particular character's got mail from a hireling. You need to log that character in.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, just a little tip for you guys really quick. Those of you who don't know, I had to discover this myself because I miss a lot of whispers, but you can create a tab for chat where we'll only display whispers only or guild chat only. It's in the chat settings. Just take a look at it and you can adjust around. I don't have anything open right now to give you guys exactly how, but it's a great tool. If you're like me, you get a lot of whispers when you're in game. It's a great thing to have just to single out so you don't miss them, because I tend to do that. But yeah, the ding
I
noise
do
would
the
be
same
nice.
thing with Guild.
Yeah, for the guild chat.
Yep.
All right, guys. What about the story content and questing? I personally think that nothing needs to be changed on that. I love it. I think they need to diversify the quests a little bit more, and maybe do a little bit more fun, worthless quests in there. Just like vehicle-based quests, stuff like that. That should just little fun things. Other than that, I don't really have any issues with that part of the game.
No, I agree with you in that respect too. I don't think there's nothing I can say that's bad about it. It's 100%. One of the things that I love about this game the most is the storyline and
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm surprised at the variety of quests. And what I love the most is the lack of the FedEx quests and
Oh, they mean like the quest hubs?
yeah. When you go out and you're told go get 10 of these
Oh,
and come
yep,
back
yep.
and do this and
The
do
fetch
that.
quests.
Delivery quests and all that, like that are common in the other games. And
Yeah.
this one here, there's a true story behind most of the quests you're doing, and you feel like you're involved. And the other thing that I love about the quest system here is, or they should say the system period, is that when you do and complete and successfully finish, you've finished. That town is totally different to you from that on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Your quests has affected the world, and that's a big plus to me.
Yeah. One thing,
That's what
guys.
I think is the
What you both
best
said.
part of the quest.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I think would be really cool is they added random events like they did in Skyrim, just on the side of the road. Random quests that can pop up without notice. There could be some rare quests that have the rare items that you could possibly get from it. That would be
That would
awesome.
be cool too. Yeah.
They do have that mechanism in place because they currently have like the campfire quest. They have a few different things like
Yeah,
that.
this is
that
very
appear at
minor
various
though.
locations.
But I think they should have a lot more of that. That would make things a
Oh
lot
yeah,
more
more
dynamic.
complex quests than those, obviously.
All right, guys. I'm gonna open the floor to anything else you guys want to talk about really quick. This is the other section, so it's all on you guys. I said my piece pretty much on everything else I wanted to get out. So
I just want to
I'm
mention
pulling
that
out.
we've only seen about 1/3 of Tamriel, and there's still 2/3 of the map that we haven't yet seen.
oh
So
yeah,
there is a lot of room for expansion here, and I just can't wait to see the rest of it.
They got plenty of room for expansion. We know this game is just gonna continue growing and going. So we'll be here for a long time. But yeah, I really can't think of anything else other than, like I said, the special events. That's what really be cool to see.
Yeah.
Justin, do you have any ideas?
Actually, I really don't have any ideas right now.
All right,
It's
guys.
a rare occasion for me.
Well, that was our main topic of the show this week. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's just our kind of our thoughts and ideas regarding the current state of the game. What I'm going to do really quick is we're going to just kind of spitfire our way through what we've done in game this week. I haven't really done much other than create a new character with Justin, which I'm excited to go ahead and play that. I am playing a Templar, my first healer, if you will. Right now I'm just doing it as two-hand with healing spells and the spear line, just to keep Justin alive and me a little bit more and do a lot of damage. Justin's playing a DK, I believe, right?
Yep, we reversed roles this time.
Yep.
Feels good, huh?
Eh, I like being back healer. I like being in back line.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you'll love it, Justin. Trust me. So we have
Dragon
the
Knights is the best.
we have the Rings of Mara, so we're gonna be XPing it up like crazy. I really look forward to playing it. I just haven't had time this week, but sorry, Justin, about that.
Yeah, I got to work on the other two characters I made
Yeah.
over this week. Then
Tell me about
yeah,
it.
I caught Altitis. I have a Nightblade Dark Elf that I'm going to turn into a vampire as time goes on, and an Argonian Templar healer.
Another healer.
Jeez.
Of course. I got to get my Templar healer. I haven't made one yet.
Interesting. Well, that's the way they should be, basically, right?
Yeah.
If you
Well,
want
I'm
to
just
go
saying,
pure
you know,
healer,
think
yeah.
about Templar, pure healer, Templar.
Well, it's one of the beauties of ESO, though. You can be almost any class and be a healer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or a
I wasn't
tank.
saying
Or...
that any class couldn't. I'm just saying Templar, is the clerical type, and you,
Mhm.
you associate clerics with healers.
Or paladinish. Yeah, the way you look at it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. My
bet.
baby is a Templar paladin type thing.
You got any interesting stories this week, Vin?
Well, I did make VR10 this week. I did a lot
Congrats.
of dungeons out in Craglorn. Got to see a lot of that.
Way to go!
Played out in Craglorn. And I also participated in our guild's fishing derby for the first time. We had a fishing derby.
I want to complain about that. They told me, hey, Joe,
What
get
are you
in.
complaining about?
Fishing tournament, 30 minutes. I get in, I pull my game up, and it's updating. It's updating.
It was a patch day.
It's
I'm
updating.
sorry.
It updated and failed, updated and failed, updated and froze. I didn't get to catch a single fish. I didn't get in-game the entire time.
Well, that ain't the
Well,
guild's fault.
Tomorrow.
Well, I didn't say I was complaining about the guild.
I'll give you enough warning. We're having it tomorrow night. So keep your game updated.
Yes, sir.
Yep, keep your launcher up.
There.
But that was a lot of fun, the fishing. I really did enjoy that. Believe it or not, up until now, I never did fishing. I didn't do it in the beta. I didn't do it in the live game. Until last Monday, I had never fished in ESO at all. And I tried it for the first time, and it was fun. We did it for an hour. I caught two bluefish and a whole bunch of green ones. And it was quite interesting.
Nice. Congrats on the win. You're lucky I
Thank
wasn't
you.
there.
Yeah, I got first place.
Yeah, somehow he pulled
Due
it
to
out. in
luck,
the
not
end.
due to experience.
What about you,
Well, that's
Fred?
all fishing is luck, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's like 90% luck.
Yep.
What about you, Fred? What have you been up to?
Oh, this week was one of those. I made VR8.
Nice.
Finishing up Reaper's March, started Caldwell's Gold. Did lots in Craglorn, working the achievements, doing the Cave Delve achievements. Actually did finish Lower Craglorn this week. And also did a few Undaunted Pledge runs. So
Nice.
we've been busy. And, of course, running events for the guild. So
All right.
busy.
I got a challenge for you guys this week.
What do you
Because
do?
next episode, if we get a guest, it'll be different. But if we don't get a guest, what I want you guys to do is, as you're playing through the game, I want you to, anytime you have an interesting story, like something screwy happens in the game, or something funny or awesome happens in the game, write it down. That way you remember, and then when we go in the episode next week, we're going to talk about, in detail, our plays all through the week. And we're going to do a little storytelling time. What do you guys
Come,
think?
kids, gather around the campfire and let us rejoice with our stories.
Let me regale you in the story of a DK.
Sounds like fun.
Alright, guys, yeah, 'cause we didn't get much time to do that this week. I apologize. I know that Fred had some more jokes, but we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show here.
Okie doke.
How to reach us, ladies and gentlemen. You can find this show, or you want to email us any of your questions, comments. If you want to comment on what we discussed today, feel free to do so. We will most likely read your email on the air, depending if it's, kosher. Must be at least PG rated. Nothing over. We appreciate that. Just email us your thoughts, comments, and what you would like to see in the game, or what you think needs to be added, or what you love about the game. Anything, really. Just email us, elderscrollingonline@gmail.com. All one word, And that's not Elder Scroll, that's Elder Scrolling online at gmail.com. Our website, you can see our listen to our audio version of the podcast every week. And usually that's up and running by 10 p.m. Eastern every Sunday night. elderscrollingonline.wordpress.com. Our YouTube is Elder Scrolling Online. All right, guys, and our Twitter for this show. When you want to know when we record, when our shows come out and are posted, whether when they're available on YouTube, you name it, the show's Twitter is at ESOing Podcast. ESOING Podcast. And you can find my Twitter and my random ramblings at The Widget, WIGIT. Fred is at Baranon, ESO, BARANONESO. Vince is Baskin Robbins. I'm just kidding, it's not. Vin is at VN Robbins, VNROBINS. And I always, every time I see that, man. Justin at Nevosi, NEVOSI. All right, guys, our guild's website, we're still recruiting. I believe we still have some openings, right?
Oh yeah.
That's eso.boardguild.com. Go in there, put down the application, say, hey, I found you guys on the show. And let us know. All right. I think that's it, guys. I don't think we have much else to talk about here. I think we wrapped up episode 7 great. Justin,
Sounds like a deal.
Again, welcome to the team, buddy.
Yay! Thank
Welcome
you.
indeed. Welcome indeed.
Everybody, have a fantastic week. Keep playing some ESO and tear it up.
Have a good night, everybody. I hope you had a great turkey weekend. Hope you see you in Tamriel somewhere.
Same here, everyone. Take care. See you next Sunday.
Yep. Take care. Have a wonderful week and stay alive till Sunday so you can listen to us again.
That was kind of morbid.
Only Justin.
I'll heal you back to life.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. Good job.
Good job, boys. Good job.